It's Reusse Unchained, presented by our friend Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, investment consultant. Pat, you've had quite the 48 hours, it sounds like.
Yes. I got to tell you about my day yesterday. I woke up at 4:30, and I had all this leftover Maurer funny stuff that I could, use. You call guys, you interview them, and then you don't use any quotes in the story that you actually write, the column you actually write. So I had a couple of guys I hadn't really quoted. So I said, I better write a notesy thing. So I did that. That took a couple hours maybe. And then I had the John Gilbert column that I had to write. And I had 17 pages of notes that I had to turn into 30 inches. And it took forever. And I finally decided, okay, I got to make this a snapshot. I can't make it a career. So it was a hard day of writing. So about 3:00, I finally got done, 3:30. And I had agreed, Adam Hansen, who used to be a bat boy with the Twins, had lined up Joe to speak at this event over here at used to be the Metropolitan. Is it still the Metropolitan over there next to the Good Day Cafe?
I think it is, in St. Louis Park.
Well, I hadn't been in there for years, okay? And I, being a dummy, did not investigate what it was. I thought there'd be 80 people there and you could come in and make some jokes, right? I did no prep. I didn't even make a note. I'm going to do it all off the top of my head, make a few jokes about boring Joe, and, and then rip everybody and leave. I walk in there at 6:00. There's 280 people in there in suits, and it's a big function. It's for it's a construction group. These people build apartment buildings and stuff, and they're from Minnesota and North Dakota. They all got suits, and the young ladies that are with them are all dressed up, and they're expecting a speech. They're not expecting a bunch of quips. I can tell that right away. They want me to come in and talk about servant leadership or something like that, right? So no, I'm a fill-in for Joe, right? And I got nothing. And I sit on it, and I'm, it's in and out. I told him I can't do more than a half hour, but I already know I'm in trouble, right?
Hold on. Is this like they're all seated at tables or chairs and it's like a podium?
I haven't been in it. This room has been all redone. It's a huge ballroom thing with tables all over. Have you been in there?
I've never been. I'm looking at pictures right now. It is the most formal ballroom I have ever seen. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I didn't know that. I didn't, I had no idea when I was walking into it. I was so stupid. When he calls me, he says, "Hey, I'm in trouble." And, the only good thing is that I figured it's 2.4 miles from my house. So, that's okay. If I make the light, I can get there in 5 minutes. So,
yeah.
I walk in and right away I know I'm in trouble because I'm not. I didn't have a sports coat on. I had a sweater and a pair of pants, and I'm expecting informal, right? It's not informal, and they have I know it's not informal because they have two singers up there. One of whom was on one of those. What's the big national?
Like American Idol.
Not Idol, but the other one. One of those.
Like The Voice.
Yeah.
The Voice.
Yeah,
the Masked
something
Singer.
like that. She's this woman. She's like great, and then the other one, and they're doing this, and I'm sitting up there and talking to a couple of people, and 280 white people. So I know, and a lot of them 50, 60. I know Trump jokes ain't gonna work with this crowd. I can't do any Trump jokes.
You're going through your list of material. Trump jokes
it's all
out.
going through my head here. I'm going up there. So I get up and say, I get introduced the guy, because the guy said, "You got any kind of a bio we want to use? You want us to use?" I said, "No, I don't care." Well, so the guy who introduced me tried to say it, but I could tell 200 people didn't even know who the hell I was out of
Oh
280,
no.
right? So then, it was like trying to tell Kirk Cousins jokes at a Kirk Cousins convention of fans. It's kind of what that it was instructive for me because it's this new audience that doesn't want softcore ridicule. And that's my stick, right? When I do this stuff, I should have prepared, but I start off saying, "Don't worry about it. Joe would have been boring anyway. He's the most boring guy I ever met." Three little chuckles, in a
Oh
room of
no.
280, maybe five or 10. Anyway, disaster. It was
So
all my material.
how long did you stay up there?
I made it damn near the 30 minutes, but the other thing is I tried, when in doubt, you go to Sid material, right? This crowd, they didn't care about him either, even though Sid is even 2 years after his death, 3 years after his death, Sid's a no-brainer for ridicule, right? You're going to get laughs from a sports audience, but I had no message to deliver them. I don't come
Why
with a
did they book
message.
you? Is my question. Like
Well,
when Joe Mauer.
because he was desperate because Joe was Joe was lined up. Adam is a former Twins bat boy for a
Adam's
lot
an
of years.
awesome guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
In
nice
fact,
guy.
I will say Adam, since we're all talking out loud here. So Adam had reached out to me like a week ago asking if he could a way to get in touch with you, and I didn't see the DM until like the day before. I didn't know that this is what that was going to be.
Yeah, because Joe, all of a sudden, Joe's running at 83%, and Joe was going to do it for free for Adam because Adam basically was his bat boy for 7 of the 15, 18 years. So
Yeah.
Adam calls me and just and I said, well, I guess so. I can do it. You're 2
I'm
pounds
so
away.
sorry. How did you fill 30 minutes? What did you even? Was it
Well,
just and you weren't talking to anyone else, right? It was just you.
I poured fire on the Joe boredom situation, right away, and that took a few minutes because I said, everybody thinks us baseball writers don't vote for people because we don't like them. We have some agenda against them. I said, if there's ever a guy I should have voted against on that, not voted for, it'd be Joe. Because I covered him for 15 years and I'm still waiting for the good quote. There's no good quotes. I said, Joe, I spent a lot of time getting bad quotes about Joe. I should resent him and not vote him. Nothing.
Nothing. Oh my. Oh,
But you know what? This is where the Reusse theory on life becomes key, because as you're bombing, your thought process: screw these people if they don't like my stuff. Screw the reader, screw the listener, and screw you.
I was embarrassed for Adam though, because he's promised them a Hall of Famer, and they give me, who they don't know who it is.
You're becoming jokes. A curbed episode, Patrick. You are becoming. We're finding more curbed your enthusiasm.
It was curb, and finally, of course, then I ripped Fleck for a while. Half of them didn't know who Fleck was, and the others didn't know why I didn't like him. And then all I had was sports. I should have. I didn't.
You should have, you should have busted out the Trump material just out of desperation.
Yeah, right,
you could have busted out some Biden material, to balance it out too.
I should have done something. But the good part is it was unpaid, so they didn't cost them any money. Because I told them, I said, I want the same amount of money Joe's making. He says that's okay because Joe doing it for free because they had him. So. They did give me a card. There might be I don't know what's in there, but
no, they didn't.
And then I walked right. I had some people over here, so I walked right out. About 2 people said, good, 280 people, about 2 people like waved, the others like it was like somebody who's done something very embarrassing is walking out. Everybody kind of turns their head, and it was.
They're all crane necking at the
I
car
have
crash.
bombed
You
I
gave
haven't
them
bombed
material though.
You know what? I think I've decided I'm done with that. No more public appearances, except if it's my little crowd.
Yeah.
They got to be. It's got to be 50 sports fans who know who the hell I am. That's it. I'm not doing any open thing. But it was.
Are you doing anything? Are you at the Diamond Awards tonight?
I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go. What's the deal?
I thought they might have you induct Dick Bramer with a speech.
That's right, because Dick was so happy when I got that award last year. He couldn't stand it. So,
he had to go sit down and pay no attention to you.
If I had to do it over again, I wouldn't do that speech either. I've changed my ways now. I'm not going to needle everybody when I speak, because it doesn't work anymore. I'm having this theory from last night. I've been thinking about it for hours. We're the most divided we've ever been, right?
Yeah.
In this country, but nobody wants one-liners that make fun of people.
You can't poke people anymore.
No, and when you're poking Joe, you're doing it with love, right? You're doing it with love. That's part of his shtick. And the other thing I already had this in my mind, that that maybe that old boring Joe thing with the dimples and the oh shucks. Before he got married, very, good father now and all that, he was a pretty good ladies' man. He might have been doing it, to attract the ladies, that whole thing.
It was his move. The aw shucks thing was his move. It was his move.
Yeah, that was his move. I was going to do that too. And when the jokes about boring Joe died, and I looked around the crowd, I said, well, I got to throw that out of the shtick too. I can't use that joke.
I think you're going down the wrong path. You need to do what Jerry Seinfeld does, which is you need to test your material in more controlled settings first. We should send you to some open mic nights. We can send you.
Right, like that.
He does. He tries. You for years you read the best lines from your column in the newsroom.
Yes, right. Yeah, we
just
did.
to
now
and they always made it.
Nobody's in the newsroom, so there's nobody to run the material past.
Do you know what we need, Reusse? We need you
from Rattle. Yeah.
We need you on the roast circuit. We need to bring back roasts, because that's your strength. I don't think
roasts will work anymore in America, because you're either roasting Trump or you're roasting Biden, and then everybody else wants you to be nice. They want you to be nice. They don't want you to make Kirk jokes. They don't want Joe jokes.
Let's use a real world example from the last couple days with the Timberwolves. All right.
Yes.
So the Timberwolves have a player, Karl-Anthony Towns, scores 62 points, and they lose despite him putting up this point. And Chris Finch, not in a tongue-in-cheek funny way, but Finch, after the game, says what everyone who watched that game is thinking, that this was disgusting and immature to lose that game.
Yes.
And then he feels compelled to walk that back yesterday. Why are we walking things back?
He's walking it back because Tim Connolly or somebody told him to. That's what I think. Or he saw the reaction in the locker room and said at practice yesterday and said, okay, maybe I went over my skis. But it's really controlled with him, though. I mean, when he says this candid stuff, it's not like he's not angry like who's the guy from that just got fined that brought out the tape and brought out the video and the whole thing. Who's the coach?
Yeah, Mike Brown.
Oh, Mike Brown.
Okay. Yeah, Mike Brown.
The Kings.
But yeah, I think that was either sensed it from the players, or Ed Connolly said, listen, we can't lose this guy. We got it. He's a volatile personality here, Cat, and we need him, or we need him to be tradable, one of the two. So yeah, but you're right. it's it is. Well, I mean, you can see it in all sports, really. That the coaches, that even in hockey, we don't have the crazed, nasty coach anymore, do we? I mean, there's a few, Judd, but not
Patrick
not
Waugh's
many.
back. We'll
Oh
see.
yeah, I love that. By the way, I would love to see. He's my favorite coach because the first game he ever coached, he went nuts and threw sticks on the ice and stuff. That's good. Where'd he go? Where'd they Washington? No,
Islanders.
Islanders. Okay. Oh yeah. Louis
Lamoriello.
hired him, right? Yeah,
Yes.
Louis hired him. Louis only.
It's going to be great.
Louis. Yeah. Anyway, I'd like to say it was a learning experience, but it was a humbling learning experience yesterday.
Yeah, it was a learning experience. You learn to not do public engagements anymore.
Yes, learn to say no. That's what I know. No, I'm not going to do that.
Did you think of asking when he called you and asked, like, what's this event about, though? Like,
it was all
black tie.
It was all done through email. And no. I
Perhaps I should vet these for you, Pat.
I admitted that at the start of this conversation. My big screw up was he said, "Well, it's this thing, this construction." I said, "Yeah, okay. It's going to be 80 guys who build garages or something, and now I got, multi-millionaires in suits who build big projects, and they." Yeah, it was all my fault. I'm not blaming anybody else.
Hey, you're in a this is a safe space because the people that are here listening they're here on purpose today. The listeners.
Yes. It was. Although I gotta say, it was not an intentional act. And what does our guy Kwesi always say?
We need to make intentional decisions.
Intentional decisions. My intentional decision was, how did I get into this mess? And it was, but what the hell? It ain't. You know what Willie Davis said 50 years ago when he dropped all those fly balls in the World Series? It ain't your life and it ain't your wife, so why worry? That's it, I guess. That's good. But it was kind of funny. It was. Yeah. The frightening part of it is you got 280 mostly older, not old, like 40, 50-year-olds. And I could sense there's like 3 Star Tribune subscribers in there. We've lost that crowd too,
Oh my gosh. It is amazing how just like in terms of media habits, the last 10 years, there's a clear divide of if you're about 35, maybe 40 years old and younger, you consume in a different way.
Some guy who was trying to read one of my Maurer's columns sends me back on Twitter, your paywall sucks. Okay. So I sent him back to him. We got one of the largest newsrooms in the country. And to pay for this, and something has to pay for this stellar coverage. So pony up, cheapskate, or something like that. I said, and dipwad, then it becomes a big discussion of how do you give away what you're doing free and still have a newsroom with 150 people in it.
Well, but also like what in terms of written content, what's The Athletic isn't free.
No.
The TwinCities.com Pioneer Press has a paywall. Star Tribune paywall. If you want to read, Jeremy Fowler just posted a piece talking to a bunch of NFL executives on ESPN.com. That's behind it. That's $10 a month.
Yeah.
Where are these people getting all, besides WalterFootball.com mock drafts? Where are people getting all this great free content right now? That
is true. Hey, one thing we didn't discuss it much yesterday. That Joe thing got a little closer than we thought, right? The tighter. I guess we talked about the older crowd not voting for many people, but man alive, that could have been. He's got a 1:00 press conference today at Cooperstown, I believe, too.
Yeah,
That's
he
on
does.
MLB. So it's I'm happy for him. And he's still boring when he gets quotes. Okay, so if you were there last night and the one person that knows we exist, I apologize. It was not good, but what the hell?
Yeah, if the Venn diagram of people that are consuming this episode of Reusse Unchained overlaps at all with the people who were at the Metropolitan Club
Not
last
too much. Yeah, you take away Joe's boring jokes and you take away my Trump jokes. I don't have much left. I gotta admit, I don't have much.
You got to workshop some new materials, Pat. I think that's the summary of this episode. Well, why don't you spend 24 hours workshopping some stuff, and then we'll devote the whole episode tomorrow to your new material.
I got another crisis. I got another crisis of saying yes when I should have said no. 2 months ago, I told you this. The Hall of Fame said, "Hey, we need a story for the
magazine
program, and we need it within a week if Joe makes it." And 1,800 words, and I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll do that." They pay you for this one. I don't know what, but I'd say sure because I think there's a 4% chance he's going to make it. Now I got to sit down Sunday, hours before they start playing football, and crank out 1,800 words on Joe, which is another sign of stupidity.
You've become Larry David. You're the Minnesota sports Larry David.
You're right.
But we need the end of the episode needs to be you finally say no to something and it backfires anyways.
Backfires.
So, yeah.
Yes, my wife always tells me that. Say no. In fact, I've been asked if I was, Score North asked me if I wanted to go to the banquet tonight, the Twins thing, and I kind of felt I should and said yes. I should have said no.
I said no.
Huh?
I said yes.
I said no.
Very
I
excited.
said no. I went last
I'm
year
excited.
because of you, and I was so bored. I ain't ever going again.
Yeah, well.
I might
And
dip
then
out
your
after
jokes
the
fell
happy
flat.
hour.
All my jokes didn't do
Your
much
jokes, your
either.
Arise joke fell completely flat.
Listen, my Rocco jokes last year at that thing got a raucous reaction compared to my Mauer jokes last night. It was completely satisfying by comparison.
You should have turned to Cousins material. That's what you should have done.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but I don't even know. Well, yeah, they're probably all Kirk fans. Anyway, I walked in.
It was funny. It was funny.
I walked in there 5 minutes and said, Trump. This is a Trump audience. I can't I'm not saying they're all, but yeah, good share of them.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, we'll dust ourselves off. We'll regroup and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
But I had a dental appointment earlier this morning. No cavities. Teeth are good.
Nice.
Great.
I'd rather have good teeth than laughs. Okay. Goodbye.
All right. See you,
Bye,
Pat.
Pat.
I mean, there was a time where you had both. That's right.
Yep.
By the way, speaking of cleaning things, Zero Res won't clean your teeth, but they'll clean your carpets. They'll deep clean your home. They'll deep clean your air ducts. Zero Res is here with the Score North special. 3 rooms, Zero Resified, starting at just $119 and $75 off when you get your air ducts Zero Res clean. 952 Zero Res or ZeroResMinnesota.com. Spell it forward or backwards. It spells the same. Zero Res.